What are we talking about?
What was the question?
Someone DM'd me saying I think they're a young photographer slash videographer in India, and they were like a lot of senior photographers, people who've been in the industry for a really long time. They still charge pretty low rates, which spoils the market for the rest of us. And they were obviously a bit frustrated about the situation, the way they see it. So I was telling Jamie about the videos that I have to record, and he was like, "Let's get on it." And I was like, "Okay." So that's
For me, I noticed within myself I was doing that in the past, which was something that I actively chose to stop doing, was comparing myself to other people's experiences in terms of putting myself in that type of situation. Whereas for me, it's like I might compare myself to see something, there might be something that I want to shift within myself, or a type of experience that I want to have. That's what I'm looking for in comparison. And even in this question, because I looked inside myself to see my perception of where I was at. And, I do some rideshare driving, and there's plenty of people in Adelaide that do rideshare driving. I could compare myself and my experience and my earnings to other drivers, but
uh,
even if I was to compare the same amount of hours as to how much money, that's still not even accurate, because there's different classes of rides, and then there's also how much they target specific types of trips. Like, there's so many different choices that lead to that outcome.
yeah,
So it would be just a waste of time for me to compete with them. I could look at other people in the same industry and go like, what are they doing? What could I do better so that I will have an overall better experience? That's really the only comparison that I can have. And we're all doing the exact same job. That's why I used it as an example. We're doing the exact same thing, but at the same time, it's always different. The ride experience someone has as a passenger in my car is different to every other person, which also changes everything, because then it depends on tips and all sorts of stuff. And for me, it's the interactions that I have are interactions that I'm meant to have with specific people,
yeah,
places, and things.
fair.
So that's the way that I perceive it. So, say someone's charging $1,000 for the same, you know, air quotes, the same work in photography or videography, like even just us, like
Yeah,
what I would charge somebody would be different than what you would charge that same person for the same thing. But
essentially.
it's different because
Hmm. So I think,
every individual can set their own price point, and the
yeah,
people paying for it are the customers. So why is somebody else's customers relevant to your business when they're irrelevant? Like,
yeah, essentially. So you can look at it from two perspectives. One perspective is that what you are providing is not the same as what everyone else is providing. And the other perspective is that, pricing is your, like, depending on which city you live in, whether you are living independently. So your expenses are different. So when you're actually calculating your cost of doing business, which is how I'm assuming you come up with your pricing, it'll be different. Someone might be living with their parents, and they don't have any expenses, and like they literally have no expenses, and they're just doing photography for, I don't know, like leisure money or something. So they'll charge whatever they'll charge, because that's their reasoning. Whereas if you live in a metropolitan city where you're paying massive amounts of rent, you have to also sustain a family or whatever, you have all these expenses that add up, and that's how you calculate your cost of doing business, and that's how you do your pricing. So it's based on that. But genuinely, like, I used to believe that customers would hire me if my prices were lower, but that's not true. I have worked with customers where people were like, "You are charging 10 times more than what the industry charges," which is also, I mean, I know they're joking in the sense that there are photographers who would obviously do it for a lot cheaper, but what is the client getting in that? I've had clients comment, like, a client hired me, and their boss was like, when they saw the final result, they were like, "Oh, like, who has shot this?" And they were like, "Nena has shot this." And they were like, "How many people does she have on her team?" And she was like, "It's just Nena." And he was his mind was blown. He was like, how is it you're saying one person has done all of this? And she was like, yeah, she's been shooting with us for 3 years. It's just that the CEO had never really interacted at that level and didn't know, like, you know, who the photographer was in that sense. And I became friends with him eventually. And he's like, I still can't believe that you do all this shit yourself. He's like, how? He said, I have to hire agencies with like multiple people on a team for them to be able to manage half of what you do. So it's, and once a client works with you or works with someone else, then they'll be like, oh, there's a difference. And clients who hire photographers regularly, they know what they're doing. So if your pricing is at a certain point and it is at that certain point and you're providing those services, someone else might be providing a different service. Like they might be doing 1/3 of what you actually do. You don't know the actual contract, right? How many images are they selling? What? And there will always be people who are shopping for price. So then it doesn't matter what you're providing. Then they're just looking for the cheapest photographer and then you don't want to work with them, do you? So yeah, essentially. Because I do feel like rideshare and photography in that sense, like it's not really a fair comparison because the product that rideshare companies are selling is a bit fixed in that sense. But
which is why I used it for the example, because photography is like,
there's so much
like
variation
artwork.
in
every person's
it's
artwork
different.
is different.
Yeah.
You can't compare it.
Yeah.
Like it's in the same category, but you're in your own category.
But that's the thing. It's like, how can you change this practice in the market? Like you can't. You can only change what you can change, which is yourself and your perceptions. And you know, instead of looking at these people as like, oh, they're spoiling the market, you should, I mean, one of the things you could say is, oh, they're taking away all the people I don't want to work with.
Yeah, like,
so that's a perspective.
For me, it's like, why even really bother what the market's doing? Like the market is just the market. Like just focus on you and your work and doing what you want to do instead of focusing on the stuff that you don't, that like other people are taking care of it. Like,
yeah, this is similar to like when I started my photography career. The first couple of years I used to do 50% payment upfront and 50% once it was done. And then eventually, of course, you know, I came up to a client who was not ready to pay me the balance 50%, and I had to run around for 9 months to get that payment from them. And after that assignment, I decided that I will only work on the basis of 100% advance. And I didn't ask anybody, can I do it? Should I do it? I just started telling clients 100% advance upfront, otherwise I am not available. And a lot of other photographers would be like, but that's not how the industry works. And my comeback to that was always, but I am the industry, right? If a large advertising agency is telling me that their company policy is that vendors get paid after 90 days, I'm saying that my company policy is that I get paid 100% in advance. And if you can't change your company policy, why am I expected to change mine? So it's, you are the industry, you are also the market. So,
and at the end of the day, you wouldn't want to work with those people anyway.
Exactly.
So like it's essentially creating what you want to experience and just fine tuning and focusing in on that. Because even for me with the rideshare, like I very intentionally focus my energy and my attention on specific types of passengers so I continuously get them, rather than the passengers that I don't particularly want to experience that with.
Yeah. So and
that's where I keep my focus.
That definitely helps. I mean, you know, and over the years, even I've gotten this now that when the first time I get an email from a client or a call, I can tell whether we will end up working together or not. It's easy to tell now. But it's, I mean, pricing is just, everyone has their own prices for their own reasons, really. You shouldn't be looking at that at all. And I have had a lot of big companies with so-called company policies who have paid me in 100% advance. So if they really genuinely want to work with you, which is why they've come to you in the first place, they will make those changes. Like I have had people make so sometimes, you know, there's an agency and then there's a client. So the client has a 90-day policy, but their agency does not. And that agency is then the one who ends up paying me because they can pay 100% advance, but the company cannot because, you know, it's a conglomerate and they can't really change policy or whatever. I've had clients do that for me as well because I'm just like, that's it. That's my company policy. You make your own rules in that sense. And whoever tells you that, oh, but that's not possible, that's not the industry standard, like, please, it works.
You just literally have to tell people the way you want to experience it. And then anything else to that, you just say no.
But I think that's what's uncomfortable, right? Because a lot of us just go with oh, that's how it's supposed to be, so that's what I will do. So you don't even know actually what it is you want.
Yeah.
That is something
Which
that
takes
I still
experience.
struggle with. I'm working on it. Yes.
Which, yeah, I mean, just goes down to experience. The more you do it, the more you know how you want it.
How you want it. Yeah. Yeah.
Like for me, that's why I don't advertise photography. It's like if the right person I interact with and they want my photos because they want me to capture specific things in specific moments, then I'll work with it. But I don't need to just go and like for me because like I'm not looking to create it for just money reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, your interest in photography is different.
Yeah.
So yeah, see that's what works for him, but it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Like I love marketing my photography services and all the work that I've done for clients and stuff. So yeah, hope that helps. Bye.
Bye.